Never forget protection, and let's add custom armor to Minecraft. New topics added to the Forge and Fabric courses, such as tameable and rideable entities, projectiles, throwable projectiles, and boats, as well as first steps to biomes and dimensions. Courses linked in the description below. Alright, we find ourselves back in Intelligent once more, and in this tutorial, we're going to be adding a custom armor set to Minecraft. So similar to the tools, we're now going to add armor. So for this, once again, in the item package, we're going to right click and make a new enum over here, and that's going to be the mod armor materials. There we go. This will implement the armor material interface over here, and we'll hover over this, implement the methods. You can see quite a few of them, and we're going to implement and we're going to populate those in just a moment. First of all, we need some fields, and those are going to be a private final string called name. We're also going to need a private final integer called the durability multiplier. We then need the private final int array, very important, of protection amounts. There you go. We need the private final integer of enchantability once again. The private final sound event called equip sound. We need the private final float toughness. Private final float of knockback resistance. And last but certainly not least is the private final supplier of type ingredient again, and that is going to be the repair ingredient. There we go. And then we also need a private static final int array, and this is the base underscore durability. And the values here are going to be 11, 16, 15, and 13. And I'm going to explain what those are in just a moment. Let's first of all hover over any of our different fields and add the constructor over here, and then we want to select everything right here. So we want to hold the shift button and just make sure that everything is selected, hit OK, and everything is going to generate over here. We can rearrange this a little bit, and there we go. Let's first of all make sure that everything here in the get durability and so on is properly returned. So in the get durability, we're going to use the base durability array over here, passing in type.ordinal, which is basically going to select a certain durability for the type of armor piece that you have. So if we look at the armor type, you have a helmet, a chest plate, leggings, and boots, of course. And basically, depending on the type, you have a different amount of durability. So the helmet has a base durability of 11, chest plate 16, and so on and so forth until you get to the boots here with the 13, and you times this by this durability multiplier. That is the idea of this. In the protection, a sort of similar thing happens where we use the protection amounts int array and pass in type.ordinal as well. There we go. What is quite important on the type though is that you do helmet, chestplate, leggings, boots. So just keep that in mind that it's that order. And then the enchantability, this enchantability, the equip sound, similarly this equip sound, we can just return that. For the ingredient, we want to call this repair ingredient get. Once again, don't forget the get over here, otherwise it's not going to work, because our repair ingredient is of course a supplier instead of the actual ingredient. The name, this is extremely important. Please pay close attention to this. Tutorial mod.modid plus colon plus this name. If you don't add your mod ID in front with the colon right here, then the placement of the texture for your custom armor is not going to be under your own mod ID. This is extremely important that you don't forget this. The toughness, this toughness, and then the knockback resistance is of course this knockback resistance. Awesome. That should be everything that we need, and we can now actually make our custom armor material. But this, once again, this is just an advanced enum, so we're going to make a Ruby over here, and this, of course, name Ruby. The durability multiplier, let's say something like 25. This is going to be a new int array, and we're going to immediately give it the different values. That's going to be 3, and let's say 8 for the chest plate, 6 for the leggings, and another 3 for the boots here in this case. Enchantability 19. Then we're going to get sound events and then you can see there's quite a few equips over here. Let's do how about the netherite equip? That's going to be okay. Toughness, let's give it actually like 2 toughness or something like that. Not 26 toughness, that's a little bit much. Maybe a little bit of knockback resistance, and then a supplier of ingredient of items, mod items ruby again. There we go. Awesome. And once again, if you want a second material over here, the materials are separated with a comma, and the last one ends with a semicolon. Absolutely normal enum, nothing crazy going on over here. Should be fairly self-explanatory and pretty easy Java. One more thing that you can do is you can click on the armor material, press Ctrl H again, and go to the armor materials class to basically check out the vanilla armor materials. They are doing this a little bit differently. They're for some reason making this weird enum map of armor type to integer over here, and they are also using the base durability like this I think it has something to do with the idea of creating the codec over here. Because we don't really need to do this, I think that this is pretty much going to be okay. But you can still see the different numbers and values that the vanilla armor materials are using, so you can take a look at that in this class. Right, and with that done, let's jump into the mod items class over here and let's take a look. So what we can do is we can just duplicate the, let's actually copy the ruby pickaxe over here, and this is going to be the ruby helmet. There we go. And of course, changing the name here as well, very important, ruby helmet. And this is of course now an armor item, so very important. The first parameter is going to be the custom armor materials, so mod armor materials.ruby. And the second parameter is going to be the actual type. So this is armor item, and you can see it always suggests the helmet to us, and that's actually all that we're going to need. So duplicate this 3 more times, and then we have the chest plate, which is of course the ruby chest plate. Changing only the helmet over here to chest plate. Then we have the leggings, which of course are going to be called ruby_leggings. And this is going to be the type of leggings. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we have the boots, which is of course going to be called the ruby_boots. And then right here, it is the armor type of boots. Awesome, these are the items added. Let's add them to the item group. Otherwise, I might actually forget that, and we don't want that. So that's the helmet, and then the chest plate, and then the leggings, and then lastly, the boots over here. These boots are made for walking. Who knows? Maybe they are. Right, then quickly the translation. At this point, nothing too crazy over here. And then the textures. So when it comes to the item textures, they're of course just normal item textures that go into the item directory over here. However, for the 3D representation, you actually want to go to your textures folder and make a new directory called models. Inside of there, we want to make a new directory called armor, written in the American way, not the British way, very important. And then here we need the ruby_layer1 and ruby_layer2 PNGs, and they look kind of like this. So you can see this is the way that basically Minecraft represents the armors in 3D. You can basically see, right, this is the helmet, this is the chest plate, and then here, these are the leggings, and these are the boots, if I recall correctly. And what's very important is that the names of these always have to be the whatever name you define in your mod armor materials. So you can see ruby_layer_1, and then once again, the name that you define it, ruby_layer_2. Otherwise, it's not going to work. This is extremely important. And they also need to be in the correct folder. So this is, of course, assets, tutorial mod, textures, models, armor. If we would not have added our custom tutorial mod ID right here, then they would have had to been under assets, Minecraft, textures, models, armor. So do keep that in mind that you want to add this. Extremely important. And that's pretty much everything that we need to do right here. So we can now go onto the data gen over here, and we actually are going to, first of all, go into the item tag provider. Why is that? Well, we're of course going to make our custom armor trimmable as well. So we're not going to add any custom trims. However, all of the existing trims are going to be addable to our custom armor. For that, in the configure method, we want to call get or create tag builder item tags dot trimmable armor, and then just add mod items dot ruby helmet. And then basically we can just add all of the rest over here. That's going to be the helmet, then we have the chest plate, then we have the leggings, and then we have the boots. The tag provider is already added over here, so that's going to be done automatically. And then in the mod models, we're going to need a tiny thing over here, but honestly, it's not too bad. So basically, we don't want to call the register method here. What we actually want to do is we want to call the register armor method here. And then we want to say mod items.ruby helmet, and you can see that would throw us an error. So we want to do .cast and then cast this to a armor item, which of course is going to be totally fine because all of those are armor items. So we can just duplicate this 4 times, add the chest plate here as well, the leggings here as well, and then the boots here lastly as well. There we go. Also, this is called legging and not leggings. I know that it's a tiny thing, but I just can't do it. So if there's a typo, just shift F6 and then change the name. And now the name has been changed everywhere. Awesome. Now, why is the register armor method so extremely important? Well, if we actually take a look at this, you can see for every trim material that exists, it's going to create its own different JSON file. So just for our custom armor right here that made trimmable, you need like what is it, like 40 different JSON files? I actually don't know how many there are, but it feels like it's 40. It's probably not that many actually, but it's still quite a few. But these are actually all of the steps that we need. So what we can do is we can just run the data gen and actually see how many different JSON files we're going to need. Those are all going to be in the item model folder over here. 45, so I wasn't actually that far off. You can see boots, and then you get freaking 10 more. It actually is exactly 40. That's very funny. But yeah, there you go. So for each of the trims, you basically need another custom item model class. Can be quite annoying, but there we go. And that should actually be everything that we need here in this case. So I guess let's jump into the game and see if it works. All right, here we are in Minecraft, and let's take on our armor. And as you can see, everything here working totally fine. If I go into survival mode, you can even see we get our protection over here, and it looks absolutely freaking awesome. Amazing. I haven't forgotten to test out the trimming over here, so we can, for example, add this. And if I were to add the lapis lazuli, you can see it gets added. So there you go. And if I were to change it out, you can see that works totally fine. And of course, it works for the entire armor as well. Awesome. All of the code is, of course, available to you in the description below, as well as all of the downloads for the textures. But that's already for this tutorial right here. In this one, we're going to continue working with the armor and actually, once again, making a full armor effect. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.